And now, this week's edition of Big Face with your host, Samantha Jane Tilton.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Big Face. I'm your host, Sammy Jane Tilton. And with us today is our guest, my man, David Bellantoni, casting director, writer, director, professor. Is there anything you don't do, man?
That's it. I don't go to work now is what I don't do.
It's what you don't do.
Yes, yeah.
Although
but I work at home.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
but you work, you're good at working from home.
Yeah, I try to make use of the time, right? That's what you too. This is what you're doing now.
Yeah, but I always say this to you, you're very good, even during difficult times. And when I, for myself, have a hard time getting things done or like getting motivated, and I could be in a hole sometimes in my own crap, I always admire that you use that emotion, you use that fuel, and you put it in your writing.
Yeah.
Which is such a gift, because it's not like you're somebody that doesn't feel deeply. You feel deeply, and you get affected by it, and you still are able to do your stuff, which I admire. You helped me get out of my funk.
Good. Yeah.
You know that.
I do know that. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, to me, it's like we live freelance lives. And one of the reasons we do that is so we can have the time to do our creative projects. And now it's like it's forced time. But I've gone through periods before in my career in casting and production where it's like there's slow periods. And I value that time because that's the work I want to do. Because I know if we had these everyday 9-to-5 office jobs that kill us because we give a lot in our work, right? We would come home and it's be like, I want to make dinner, I want to eat, I want to connect with the people I love, and I'm exhausted. And there's nothing left. There's no time for the stuff that we really want to do, our writing projects, our film projects, our plays, our teaching.
And I'll say this, so for those of you tuning in, David and I met through casting, and I was working at a studio right next door. I'm like not naming places just in case. I don't know.
Should we not name places?
I don't know. We can name places. I don't know why I'm doing that.
It's a studio somewhere in Manhattan.
You know, it's a building. It's a room.
It's near other buildings. And yeah, a street.
It exists. You know, there's air.
Is there.
So, so you work, I could say where you mostly work.
Yeah.
You work at mostly at Beth Melsky. You could say it. Sorry. Speak for yourself, man.
I mean, so I work at Melsky. You were at Envision that day.
Yeah.
I'm sort of envisioning, however, I thought we met at one-on-one.
No, we may have met at one-on-one in passing, but
okay.
I remember it was like outside of Grandy Morris door, right, and outside of like Dave's office, at Envision, like us really having a conversation about, like Jews and Italians and New Yorkers and
yes.
This is who we are. Yes. And we were
lots of pizza.
Yeah, lots of pizza. And we were like, it's on. This is a relationship to grow. And that was it. That's when it was like cemented. And for those of you watching, David is family now. David is, you are, David, you know this, you're family. Yeah, you're one of my closest people.
You have a brother, David, and now you've got me, David, brother from another mother.
Yeah, it's funny because John was brushing his teeth the other day, and he was trying to say David, and I was like, which David? And he was like, your David. And I'm like, that could mean my brother or the other David, because I call David Bellantoni my David. You're my David. So my
question is this: John brushes his teeth?
Occasionally. He does me a favor, you know? He's like...
Okay.
I'm very grateful.
I could do a crest spot right now. John, here you go.
You've done enough of them.
Yeah, true.
So when David talks about when you talk about being depleted, like at the end of the day and going home, you and I both, when we're casting, talk about what it's like for you when you're casting.
Well, I think we're very much the same where we give a lot. We give entirely of ourselves willingly, because that's the part that we enjoy in the job. Yes, there's the administrative stuff.
Yep.
Is the chart right? Do we have the refusals right? All that's really important. We've got to make sure the client is happy, make sure our boss is happy. But in the end, when we help an actor find that moment, and you can see the glint in their eye, like, oh my God, thank you. That small tip just really meant something to me. Or even better, when you get the note from the actor, or the actor comes in and says, you know what, thank you for that booking. I can now pay my insurance.
I just got the chills.
I can now have my kid. I'm starting my kid's college fund. You know, I needed to get over the hump this month. That helped me pay rent. It's like, yeah, you know.
It's the best feeling. I know. That's what we relate. We relate on, because a lot, you know, not everybody like cares so much, but you and I both, we give so much. By the end of the day, it's like nothing. We take the train home and we're just together when we're working together, and it's like,
we're like,
like there's like, we're just like the
yes. And it's great to have somebody with that understanding, you know, because sometimes you talk to other people like, why aren't you talking that much? I was like, I've been going 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, but we do this because that's part of the, you know, for me, I love teaching, I love directing. That's kind of what we do. We do a little bit of both in auditions every day. And I think both you and I have a reputation with the actors that they love to come in the room with us.
I always hope so. And when you hear it and you get that feedback, it's like nice to know it's received. You know, the love and care that we give, it's received.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's, you know, that stuff that's priceless.
It's the best feeling. Like sometimes, you know this, like, and when you help me get out of myself, if I'm in a bad place, I'm always better when I show up to the work. Like I could be dreading, like just even, and I love teaching, but I could be dreading having to teach that day or having to go be a reader or something, just dreading it because of my own internal stuff. And then I get there and it's like, it's all about them. I'm completely removed from all my crap. And it's like, it's just there to be of service, and it's giving.
That's part of it too, though, right? Because it also is it allows you to get out of your own funk. And not only that, so it helps you, but then you're helping other people, and you come by, it's like, cause I have those days too. It's like, God, I don't want to get out of the house. I don't want to work. I don't want to write. I don't want to do this. I want to do that. And then, you know, on the way there or on the way out of the house, like, fuck. Right. And then and then afterwards, you're like, this is a great day.
I know.
Right? Why was I driving myself, like wringing myself into a pretzel? And then, you know,
it's so true. It's and it's like, I know I could be so much better after that day. It's like it cured me in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say you're a very sensitive person. You're very deeply caring. And we've talked about that. You use that time and space to yourself when you could not be feeling great, and you use it productively. This has kind of been a little bit of a different time and space with everything with Corona. How have you been doing, and how has it changed or affected kind of your productivity, or if at all, maybe it made you more? Just curious.
Oh no, I mean, you can't not be affected. There is, yes, it's downtime. So yes, you try and create more. But it's surreal. So the times you get buried in your work, and then you go outside, and it's still where it's like, oh, Jesus, everybody's wearing masks. Right. Okay. Yes.
I know.
This is what's happening right now. And you listen to Cuomo in the morning. I mean, it's starting to go down now because, you know, people will be watching this, right, months and ahead. But right now it's early May. And, but I mean, through April, my birthday was like a month ago. And there were days where, you know, I was watching Cuomo in the morning just to get the daily thing. And he's been
what's going on.
But when there was like 800 to 1,000 people dying every night, I just like tears were just, I mean, I couldn't even control it. I still then, we're like 215 people died. And so it's just, and also because and I'm sure it's the same for you. We haven't really talked about this, but
No.
you and I have a very wide network of actors who know
Yeah.
us, and people in the business, directors,
Yeah.
people in the theater company. So I know a lot of people who've had it.
Hold on.
And
You've known. So I'm
now I
just
know
gonna
a fair amount of people who have not
hold
made
on.
it.
So guys, just so there was a little bit of lag, just because internet stuff, which you guys get,
Sure.
and it's going to happen. So David, just say that again. We know a lot of people, and then directors, theater, and then after that.
A lot of people who came down with it.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Yeah, and a number of people who didn't make it, and people who came in and auditioned, and you know, we lost a big one last week.
Really?
I don't know if I want to name names, but it just
okay. You'll tell me after.
Yeah, pretty big one, and I'm sure some, you know, a lot of people, because I do all the Spanish stuff, as you know, so I know a few people in that community who didn't make it. So that really hits home when you think about. Yes, you can see numbers on the TV and hear people talk about it,
But when you
but
know
then
someone.
when you know somebody who is no longer ever going to, you know, see again and come in again and work with again, and also, you know, I do the outreach with the old people with the assisted living, so I know a number of people who have come down with it there. But also, my favorite person, who's 103 years old.
She's 103 now.
But she went down to Florida with some of her family. I'll never see her again. So I'm very thankful that she made it out of New York in time, and I'm very close with her daughter now. And so we're in contact, but
you called her your girlfriend. She was your girlfriend.
Yes, that's right. You remember? She got jealous. Oh my God! It made me so. It's so clear. It's like people think like old people don't have. It's like they're still the same human beings inside the same heart. So
exactly, just a little bit slower, a little bit.
She knows that I always would go and see her, but one day there was this Christmas party, and this other woman who was 75. I decided, hey, could you help me with bring some stuff up to my apartment? So I did that. And then every other time it's like, you went up with that whore? It's like, I'm like, whore, I'm helping her bring things up to her apartment. Okay. Now I know about you. Okay. And I'm like, I never lived it down. And it's like, she's 103 and she's still sweating me.
It's amazing. She was just giving you the business. Oh, wait. I just remember that. It's so funny.
It's just like that stuff that we all did in high school. It doesn't go away.
It doesn't go away.
Same human beings. So it drives me crazy when I heard people in certain comments like, well, they're old anyway, they're going to die. You have to be kidding me. I mean, it bothers the shit out of me to have people say, because
it's like, so
to discard a human life like that.
Because they're a soul, they're a being. Like, they're just like, one day, God willing, we'll be there. Yeah. We'll be who we are, just aged, and like, so we don't deserve to live because.
Hey, in other cultures, these people are. They're upgraded. They're the people of wisdom.
Revered.
The people that you revere and you take care of the most.
That's how. There was one time in my life where I was going through like a lot of changes, and I disconnected from all my friends that I grew up with, and I became very close with a bunch of women who were in their 70s and 80s. And so whenever somebody would ask me like, oh yeah, so your friends, and I was like, oh, I was talking to my friend the other day, and I would say something that would obviously shed light on that. They were a lot older. They're like, how old is your friend? And I'm like, oh, she's 83. And they're like, what? Like, but all my friends were like in their 70s and 80s, because I've always identified myself as kind of like an old soul, and I identify with those people. Like those,
I agree.
That's the conversations I want to have.
Just to listen. When I'm talking to a woman who's 103 and you're talking about First World War, Depression, Second World War, Vietnam, it's like she's seen everything. So to listen to that level of experience is like, it's fabulous. It's like, I don't even want to interrupt.
It's so crazy, because it's like, even people with all that life experience, it's crazy because they're like, I've never seen anything like this.
Right.
This is unlike anything. And it's, I don't know, like I just kind of got like, my breath kind of just got short, because it's like, when I really think about it sometimes, I'm like, what's happening? Like, what's happening? And when is it gonna be like, it's like a different planet.
It is. We were talking, I was with Brooke and Mary, you know Brooke and Mary, right? Yeah. So they do these panels, and I was on one yesterday. So we had Ashley and Joe from The Office, right?
Oh, okay.
And so there was talk about trying to, like, you know, what is it going to look like? And so there's different opinions about stuff like in casting and there's different sides, of course, but I mean, one of the things that Brooke said is like, yes, things will go back to, there are going to be adjustments, but when it gets back to normal, it's like when there's a vaccine,
I
they're
know.
completely normal, but that doesn't mean that there will be work before then, but things will change. The way production will happen will change. The way castings will change. And everybody's going to have to adjust to that. And thank God we have, thank God we've got Zoom. Thank God we got Skype and all these other things that we could do things remotely.
It was interesting because Zoom has been for me, this connecting with people like you. And so I'll just share this. So the other night, guys, was my birthday, and I was like sad because it's weird, and it's weird to be stuck indoors and not be with anybody that I love except one, not that one person doesn't count, but it's just strange to be isolated from everyone that I care about. And I got a surprise Zoom Zoom chat thing, which David was on. And like, first of all, did I tell you that I completely thought it was pre-recorded because John had it on speaker view. So, and everybody was saying something different. So it was like, it looked like it was pre-recorded because everybody said something different and it was one face at a time.
And you were like, okay, this is okay.
I was like, aw. And then I was like, are they here? Is this happening? And then I like clicked like gallery view and then you were all there.
Yes.
And that, I started to cry. That was like, that was the best. I got to be with you guys, you know? And it's interesting. I talked to somebody the other day and they don't like to Zoom because it makes them feel more lonely. And I thought that was interesting. Yeah. It's almost I don't know, maybe it's like a tease of like human connection being with somebody, but not really. I don't know. It was really interesting.
Right. I mean, for us as teachers and like, we have to do that and thank God that can continue, but you're right. I mean, that I could see that point of view because it's like, you can't touch, nothing can truly replace, human to human contact.
Yep.
We are looking at a screen. We are looking at an image with synced audio and video and
And I'm old school. Like in a lot of ways, I hate technology. Like I'm kind of a hater. My dad always says, don't be a hater. He loves that word. But I kind of am when it comes to technology.
And I got to meet your dad and your brother for the first time. I've heard about them forever. And yes.
Well, you did. And it's funny because you met them when we had our plays go up with the theater company, but your play was going up. So it's like, you have so many people that are there. You get to just, hey, thanks. And you got to be present for your play.
You have to be the host.
Yeah. But yeah, it was so nice for you to be with them.
Yes.
It's funny, right?
Did the Irish exit.
Yeah. My brother just peaced out.
He bang. I'm out.
He's like, I had enough.
I don't need this.
And then I love that his friend, who I've only met twice through Zoom playing games, called in when she's the one that was on a movie thing with it, screen share thing with him. Right. And she hung out, sweetheart.
Right. Yeah.
So,
look, I think can you imagine, 100 years ago, this happened, right? So we are more fortunate now than we were then. Yeah. But we still realize that there's things in nature that can take us down. We don't technology can't fix everything.
No.
But the Zoom thing, yes, it can't take place, but it really, for me, it's been helpful.
For me, it certainly has.
It's kept some income for us going. It keeps us connecting with actors in the classes that we teach.
Yeah.
But I did stuff like this week, for example, one of the guys, Jeff Pruitt from our theater company, he's a guitar player. So we were playing music on Zoom. And then last night, one of my oldest friend, Ethan, who gave me my nickname, Three Guys, back in way
I know. Back when. I've heard of Ethan for a long time.
Yes. So we did a happy hour thing with his brother, who's up in Boston. And, so
we've been saying we have to do that.
Right. So, I mean, that to me, it's, yes, I can get it. To be it's painful because they're not here, but at the same time, it is better than nothing. It's much better than being completely solitary because that's rough.
Yeah.
I like my alone time, but please.
I know.
I was okay, come on.
You and me both. We're
yes.
And that's the funny thing is that we both love our alone time. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yes, we do.
But, this is we're also, I'll speak for myself. I am better when I'm connected to others and not just stuck to myself.
This is forced. It's different. Like we can choose to it. Like we're yin and yang to both of us because we can thrive amongst the crowds of people.
Yes.
That give us energy, and then we're tired. Leave me alone.
I'm tired.
I'm tired already. I don't want to hear from you.
I want to take a nap. I'm tired.
Then you go back. I want to take a nap.
Hey,
my bite plate. And then we go back into the bull ring, right?
Exactly.
And do our things. I mean, because the writing stuff for me is like, that is solitary. I do need the quiet time to do that. Some people can go anywhere, the coffee house, and they're on their phone. They're doing 5 things at once. To me, it's like, it's better to focus on one.
Yeah.
And have some quiet.
It's so funny. I'm like looking at you. I love you so much, and you know that already.
Oh, stop.
Oh, you. But it's like funny because I'm like, what do we want to talk about? Because so we talk on the phone. We could talk for hours and hours. Like we do that all the time, but we haven't caught up so much lately. So there's a lot that I actually want to talk to you about.
Sure.
And it's even funny, like seeing the background here. Like I can't wait for you to see my apartment again, like how different it looks.
Right. It looks great.
It's like, and you only see a smidgen of it. I can't wait to show you the whole thing.
No, I'm impressed. Well, I remember you talking about it, having a barricade, but this is way more than a barricade. I mean, it's really storage area. You got your coffee cups.
And it goes all the way up to like the ceiling. We have and there's all these different compartments. It worked out really well, thankfully.
Yeah, smart.
New York City, got to make space work, you know?
Yeah, no, I mean, good for you guys, right, for making that happen.
Yeah, thank God.
Yeah, too. I mean, you become engineers, right?
Yes, you have to.
Yeah.
We're New Yorkers, we make it work.
That's right.
Well,
That's what we do.
He's a Boston person, but they're kind of fierce too.
Yeah, you know, I love Boston. Except for their teams, but other than that, the other thing that I was doing was with our mutual friend Rob Riley, who's editing the film.
I know.
He's now set up a group of like 4 or 5 guys who've got screenplays. So now we're reading scripts out loud. So we
were saying that the other night.
Yeah, so I did that on Monday, and that worked pretty well. So I was thinking of that because one of the guys is from Boston. And he's a total wise ass Irish kid, and he started talking about all the teams. I'm like, okay, stop. Okay, Yankees, Knicks, Rangers, Giants, and he's like, oh, okay, he got it. It's like it's not.
He's like, we're
not gonna talk about that stuff. But
we're meant to get along.
Yeah, but exactly so. But they were great guys, and so it's cool to hear somebody's script out loud and be supportive of that person. And then they could leave with some adjustment ideas or feeling good about what they can do next. And so that's another really valuable thing that we could do on this platform.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me know if they ever need more readers or anything. You know, I love that. It brings me right into it.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yes, that would be great. Because they're all men. So let's have a female voice.
Yeah. Especially if there's a female in it. Great.
Right. Because yes, I was in fact reading, Millie and Roxanne. And,
I mean, you're good, but are you that good?
But I'm not. Yes, I was his only choice. So
that's beggars can't be choosers.
That's right.
So where do you want to go? We could talk forever. Let's talk. I mean, people don't know, but we've worked together. I mean, there's so much. So we've met through casting, and you're the reason that I got into directing and writing. And David, you know, for those of you listening, David would sit in on my castings. He would just be in the back eating lunch or whatever, like doing his thing when he was on his break. And you believed in me, like you saw, and you're like, you're a director. You're a director.
And
why are you not direct? And a teacher. And like, while I believe in myself, I'll speak for myself. I don't always see, you know, those things or give myself credit. And you really gave me credit, and you really believed in me, and you're honest. You don't like blow smoke. And I then met Paul and got into the theater company and wrote and directed a few plays. And that changed so much for me, just on what I love and what I like to do. And then I started teaching, and you passed my name along, and I love it. And it all makes me so much better.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but I think you just sometimes, it's great to have somebody who you know and who you love and who you respect point things out that you may like, yeah, I could do that, but I don't know. I'm not sure. You have that self-doubt. And the other person's saying, no, what you're doing here every day with the actors, you're directing them. And you are directing them really well. And they're feeling good, but also most importantly, their performance is getting better with each take. It's like, you're also the way you handle it. It's like you're a teacher too. So directing, I think a lot of times is teaching, right? Yeah. There's a they kind of go one in another, at least in my view. Yeah. And I saw you doing that. I'm like, well, I don't know. I was like, yeah, but let's try this. And then you're like, okay. And then it's like, yeah. So then you started to step your foot in and doing it. And you're like, all of a sudden it's like, now it's like, yeah, I'm a director and a teacher. Fuck you.
How you like me now?
How do you like me now? Okay. Shut the fuck up. Are we allowed to curse in this? Sorry.
Yeah, you're allowed to be you. Big face, big words. You take it.
Censored.
But you're right. And like, sometimes it takes somebody outside. For myself, it did. And I think, a lot of times I'll tell people, like when I'm teaching class and stuff, other creatives or people that are like, I just want to do this one thing. I'm like, just be open. If somebody asks you to do this, help out in a lot of ways that you can. You have no idea what your skill set is in this area until you do it. Yeah. And you may love something and you may go further. You just don't know. And
go ahead.
No, I was going to say, go ahead.
Sometimes it's just, you need a little bit of words of encouragement to take that step. And that first step is like very filled with fear, right? It's the limbo. You're thinking about it, oh my God. And then you just get a little nudge, a tiny little nudge.
A tiny little nudge.
And then, but then bang, then it's all of a sudden you're kind of off to the races and you're like, holy shit, I got this. And then like the rocket boosters are behind you and you're thinking, well, I don't know why I was scared, but it's human nature.
Well, John and I were just talking about that. It's just like fear can rule so much and has kept me stuck in a lot of ways for many years. And I'm grateful I've worked through a lot of that, but fear can still keep me, especially creatively. So like you said, you saw that in me, you expressed it, and you didn't just let it go. You kept on me a little bit, and you definitely did. Cause you could say, for me, somebody can say something and then I could go, oh, but it's almost like, nah, when I get back to my own head. And if I don't hear it again or get pushed, I can go, nah, like I never heard that, never happened. Whoops. My brain has a built-in forgetter, I say.
Right. Yeah. But I don't know, because because I see you enough, thankfully, for me, when I saw the potential, I'm like, this is, I'm not going to be an asshole. But I'm going to be persistent. And
you're a good friend.
And sometimes the kick in the ass, and then sometimes the hug, a little bit of both. But it's like the important thing is like finding, seeing you, develop like that is, it gives to me too in a huge way. So just to see you, doing this, because this is also, I know you were this like a new thing. It's a potentially scary thing, and you're putting yourself out there, and right, and all the technology that you're talking about, which is a pain in the ass, and you're struggling through. But this is another, right? This is another thing where it's like you took the step.
Yep, and I had pushes,
Right.
And dude, for anybody that thinks out there about like possibly creating stuff, like just fuck the fear. I just got to like try and just say, sorry, excuse my language, but like just to fear, because it's just, it's fake. It's bullshit. And
wait, is that a thing already? FOF? Fuck the fear. FOF. I'll say
that's FTF.
FTF. I don't know what letters am I saying. FTF. FOF. Fuck off. Fuck off.
Fuck off fear.
Yes. But so it's two different things, right? Fuck the fear or fuck off fear. Like get out the door. Yes.
Yeah. And I don't know. For me, I've never been able to I've done a lot on my own in life. I've had to, and I've had to fight through a lot of life. But there's a lot of stuff that without support, I am stuck. And I think I was speaking to somebody else about this recently, and I was speaking to John about it earlier. Like, I can have an idea for something, and I'm like, but then I get into, okay, if I was ever going to make it, how would the production happen? Because it needs this and it needs that. And then I'm dead in the water before I even start writing the script. And just because of an idea that maybe might not be able to happen, but that keeps me from doing it. And like, John has a couple of amazing ideas for scripts that he shared with me, and they're beautiful. And it's like the one thing, sorry, I won't say anything else about that because it's his stuff, but like, like just how those things can trip us up, at least for me. And I was talking to another filmmaker about that. And it's like, when you build it, they will come.
Right.
If you build it, they will come. And it's like, yeah, put your pen to paper, get some ideas, and you never know who's around.
Pen to paper. Look at you, Miss Old School.
Oh yeah, dude.
Pen. Pen to paper. What are we doing?
I'm like, it's what I do. I hate writing on my computer.
But also, I remember we had a very casual conversation a couple of years ago about, hey, I'm going to get some camera equipment.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And then that sparked a more serious discussion of, hey, I have a film I can make. It's based on a play that I wrote, so I know it can already work as a narrative. I know it can already work as, coherent piece with good actors.
You said this. I'm saying that because I said I'm going to buy film equipment, and then you were like, you know what? So I didn't want them to think that I had a film idea. You did.
Right. I had the film idea, but it was sparked by you saying, hey, I want to get some film equipment and start making some things. And I thought, well, shit, and you're like, what should I write? I'm like, I think I have something.
We can, and then we were like, let's play around. We were like, even if we keep it simple and we do this location and we hit blah, 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 we'll try and keep it simple.
Right.
But just that idea of that sparked in you, like, and it got bigger and bigger.
Yes.
And then we didn't just keep it limited to my apartment and shooting limitedly.
Yes. Then it became a $13,000 production. But yeah.
But a beautiful one.
But yes, but that it did come from a basic conversation which sparked something in me. So in other words, it goes both ways. Your conversation, you didn't intend to go somewhere, but it did. It sparked ideas in me. It's like, yes, you know what? Yes, let's do something here. Why are we, Which is
also why I think this part of the reason why I'm doing this show right now is because for myself, I can feel so alone with that, like, oh, but I shouldn't say anything or blah, 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 or just like keep things inside. And it's like, if you get them out there, you never know. Like, look how we feed off each other, just friends being creative ideas, or just an idea like, oh, maybe I'm going to buy a camera. And look what it turned into. So you guys know Three Kings, which is David's film, which is so beautiful. If you want to talk a little about it, like it started as your play in the theater company. If you want to talk about the content, anything you want to say about it.
Well, here's an interesting piece of news about that, which is I just got an agent for that. I know.
What?
I know. Well, he sent me a contract, and I found an attorney to help me out, and so there's a couple back and forth. But yeah, so this is I know how great. And it came through. I know it's brand new.
When? I was like, how did I not know this?
This week, literally. So I've been, and I wrote a feature, like a long script for it, but this is specifically for the short. And I thought, as cool as,
I have chills so bad right now.
I loved making the short, and it did wonderful on the festival circuit, and Donna won Best Actress, and I was nominated, which is wonderful. But I guess I just thought, well, okay, the run for this is over pretty much. Like, I did all the festivals.
Yeah.
And now it's about promoting the feature film, which
is that horns honking in the background?
Yeah, sorry.
we live in New York.
Shut up! My cat looked at me like, "What, me? What? I'm just lying here.
I'm adorable.
I'm lying. I'm lying here." So anyway, I figured, okay, it did a nice run. I'm happy with it.
Yeah.
I don't expect much from a short film. It's not something you make money on. It's something to kind of promote your idea, which was based on my family dynamic, Italian-American, Christmas Eve, a dysfunctional, very human, very funny family discovering that one of their own has dementia. And I wanted to bring out some of the humor too, because so many of those films I feel get so melodramatic and makes the person who's sick into a hero, but it's really they're human. They're human beings, and sometimes it makes the family into like this tornado, which can be both dramatic, but also really funny, really awkward, and really interesting and surreal. And that's kind of where I wanted to go with it. But this guy, so basically, the head of school where I teach at Pace said, "Hey, I thought of you because I have some alumni is starting a production company," and I just got an email from Scott.
No emails right now. We can't do emails.
Enough. So it's like great. So I found the contact for this guy and sent him the film, and then he watched it. He said, "Wow, this is great." And then he sent me essentially a sales agent contract, which is like what Ramona does for you.
Right.
Sends it out, does the thing, takes a certain percentage. It's like a 6-month exclusive thing, and then you can renew afterwards. But it's basically they want to get it to like people. Like content, people really want content. He apparently has international contacts. Apple TV was talking about. So he can place it into things where it's like, well, I don't really have those contacts, so it's great that he can find that stuff. And I really don't, I figured, I said to him, listen, it sounds great. Let me just have an attorney look it over, just do due diligence and never sign anything. And for me, I just wanted to make sure that there was no ownership and no transfer, no idea of, there's no way I don't own this project. Like going forward, like there's like, he wouldn't have any ownership in the feature in the bigger project.
Right.
And there isn't.
That's important.
It's like, yeah, it's essentially, it's an agent. Which is great.
I keep getting chills.
I know. Yeah.
Congrats, Davey.
Good, right? Isn't that good thing? So that's like good things that are, for me, it's just like, I keep knocking on the door. This one kind of knocked on my door. I wasn't even expecting it. It came from Pace, which is cool. And I love the people who run that school over there. Big shout out to them. I love the students there, and it's a good program.
It's a beautiful, like when I've sat on your panels.
Yes, right. That's right.
It is beautiful. The being in
great,
your class,
right?
Getting to give them feedback. The kids are wonderful. It's such a great class.
It's a good program.
It's so good for them. They have you. It's such an amazing thing that they have going there. That's great.
Right.
But we talk about this all the time because you do your footwork. You put it out there. You do that. But then we talk about this all the time, that a lot of times it doesn't come back to the doors that we went knocking on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It comes back from, it like bounced into the universe somewhere else, and from some other fields comes landing down, and you're like, whoa, I don't even know where this exists. And it's like, that's what it is. It's just, you do the footwork. For me, I feel like it's energy. You're putting that out there, and you have no idea where it's going to land.
Right.
So like you just said, you don't have the contacts.
Right.
Most people don't.
No.
Most people don't. And but you put it out there. You did your work. It moved people. It affected people. It made people interested and want to further it.
Yes.
What more could you ask for?
Yeah.
And
we were also talking that like he's younger, but I think his grandmother had it. But to me, it's like it doesn't have to be necessarily. I don't think you need to connect with it if you have somebody like that exact issue, somebody having dementia. If you have family dysfunction, which is universal. Universal. I don't care what language you're speaking, where you are. There's going to be dysfunction, and this is this is a particular flavor. It's New York Italian American.
So good.
Right.
I'm just picturing Susan right now, and I'm just like, oh god.
And then you have Armando, so you have the mixed, right? The mixed race.
The whole cast was just so great.
But yeah, so it's a flavor, but I think it's dysfunction, family dysfunction is something I love writing about. But it's like it's universal. It exists everywhere. It doesn't matter. Yeah, and that's that's where I think it could lock into something.
I loved being, so for those of you listening and watching, so I got to be assistant director and makeup artist on that. And it was such an awesome experience. and and everybody that was there, like all the actors, all the crew, like it was an awesome experience.
Yeah, it was, right?
And being at Susan's house, just like home.
There's a comfort zone I think for you, because, for some people in the crew, we didn't really know them.
Right.
But you already knew Susan really well.
Yes. Susan's, sorry, if you're talking, hold on.
And Armando. So
there's
a whole side of us who had already.
You were frozen for a sec. You said you already knew Susan very well. And then what did you say after that? We lost
you. There's like, you already knew the cast.
Yes.
Quite well, right? Susan, Danny, Armando.
Yeah.
So there's a comfort level there.
Totally.
Already. And then
they were all friends. Yeah.
We're all friends. And then how's the cast who knows each other and me, and then the crew who we're all new, but it all gelled pretty well.
Yeah. There's always hiccups. Yeah.
There's hiccups, of course.
Always.
Every production that goes off the rails a little bit. But to me, it's like
some more than others. Sorry.
Some more than others, yes. And that's the nature of the business. How do you bounce back? But how do you? To me, the fact that they'd already done the play, and they were already off book, they already knew their characters, so they could just slide into their roles, and I just need to bring them back for film, so they couldn't project so much, and a lot of time with Donna I had to really work. But I mean, everybody was just, everybody knew their characters already, and that was such a bonus.
It's so great.
I didn't have to sit there and rehearse with them over and over and then shoot. It's like, okay, let's get all the technical side ready. Let's get lighting, camera, the moves, right, and sound and how and then. But it's like I didn't have to sit there and talk to their actors about the character.
Right. Yeah, I know. And then I want to go into something else for a second, but speaking of family dysfunction, that's the one thing that has been hard for me to stomach right now. Like with everything going on, thinking about kids that are in homes that are dysfunctional, where like school was their place away, was at least that time to not be in, like, I'm getting choked up because I just think about people that maybe have parents that are addicts, or like just a lot of dysfunction, that being out in the world was like their relief.
Right.
And because there is dysfunction in every family. There is, I know it well, and it affects us all. But like during this time, this is unprecedented to have no escape. I can't think of if it were during the worst years of my life when I was younger and my mom was sick and dying, like if I could not leave, and I feel so bad for and just anybody of any age that's stuck in a home or a place where it is really unhealthy.
I know.
And it's often.
Yeah. There's no question. Well, there's a rise in domestic violence. That's probably, alcohol, you've got dysfunction. Plus also that's where a lot of these kids get their meals.
I know. I didn't mean to be Debbie Downer, but like, I have to just acknowledge that, because it's really real right now. Yeah. And
it's not that, it's reality you're talking about, and it's right outside.
And the thing is, like you said, like you go, you volunteer. I mean, you can't right now, but you would go to the assisted living home and you would do that service of being there and being there with people. And like, I think that's one of the hardest things right now, at least for me, is that I can't help. Like, I can't help anybody. There's a man in my building who is senile, maybe has dementia, and he doesn't take good care of himself. And we always see him, and like, I haven't seen him in a while now, and he's always been alone, and he's a lot older, and it kills me that I can't like go check on him or like see if he's okay or needs anything. I don't know if
check on him.
No, because I mean, like with all the 6 feet, like, and I actually don't even know what apartment door he's even in. Okay. But like, even going around the apartment building is a pain in the butt. But with the stairs, John and I went out the other day, and then like, we have our masks on. We're like, and this woman's just walking, doesn't even move out of the way. She has no mask, nothing. It's just like everything's difficult. But anyway, this poor guy,
I know there are. Yes,
I want to help people. I wish there were ways, and maybe this will make people maybe if you guys out there, if anybody has any more ideas or has thought of ways to help, please reach out to, whether on the page or like to the email, but because I know both of us would love to help and be of more service.
Yeah, I saw there were some people that were packing meals that I know.
Yeah.
There were other people that were getting involved in kind of making ventilators that were, I don't know, some sort of customized ventilators that were, when we had the ventilator issue.
Yeah.
There were people getting involved with that. So I know there are ways to do that. It's just, a question of getting involved in the right group, getting involved in the right network.
Yeah, exactly.
Doing all of that kind of stuff. I mean, for me, it's like I'm trying to reach out to as many people as I can. All the old people in the building I know, I do check on them, even in the hallway. Because look, you can still, you still have the mask and you can knock on the door and you take a few steps back. How you doing? You okay? I'm okay. I mean, sometimes it's what it takes. So I've done that with a few people. And, and I check in with my people on Columbus Avenue to make sure they're okay. And, it's the outreach.
Yeah. I was in the lobby the other day. I ran downstairs and had my mask and everything. And I was just running to get the mail really quick to run right back up. And all of a sudden I heard, excuse me. And I like jumped because I didn't see anybody else there. And then I was like, where is this person? Are they close to me? And she said, oh, I'm sorry. And she said, maybe I shouldn't go over to you. And I said, well, what's up? What do you need? And she didn't know her friend had given her a mask and she didn't know how to tie it. So I just from a ways away, I said, here's what you do. And I walked her through it. I said, okay, no, now try this. And she got the mask on and so I was able to help even being safe, which
sure.
Random story. But
yes,
because I was like, yeah, no, don't come over. I didn't say that, but I was thinking, don't come over.
Right.
The other night I was watching Jimmy Fallon and Vince Vaughn was on there and he was talking about how he went for a walk with the dog and his kid, I think. And this older woman was very excited and came over and was petting his dog. And he was didn't know what to do. Do you say no? This woman, she just wants to pet the dog. Now, do I have to shave my dog? And whatever he said, wash the dog. Do I have to put the dog in the garage for 2 weeks? What do I do now? And it's yeah, what do you do?
So your friend's what happened? Why does your dog have a mohawk?
I know.
This crazy woman petting you both sides, but the center was still okay.
I know. It's what do you do? But anyway.
Yeah. No, right. No, it's hard to navigate. There's no question about it.
Yeah. So I'll go back to what I was going to say was that, from that film, from your Three Kings film, was born another script that you didn't even know was a script.
Right. I don't know if I want to talk about the genesis of that one.
Yes, I know.
Great.
Right. So,
however,
I was going to say.
But I am editing another. Well, the difference for you and I is you were makeup and you AD, but now in this film, you were the lead actor.
Yeah.
And that was a leap for you because you'd studied, but then you cast and you took a break and then you wanted to come back and you were itching to do that. And
always.
And I wrote this for you.
So funny.
And I wrote this for you because it was based on something I went through. And I know if anybody could make this happen, it would be you, because it was a dramatic situation, but it's also very funny. And to me, it was this is the intersection between ambition and compassion, which you have, right? It's
Thank you.
It's essentially a filmmaker who has this major obstacle the night before her film. And I knew you could capture that because it's a different actor would be it would be too heavy and no, it's supposed to be a darker comedy. And I know you could find the compassionate parts and the parts where you get frustrated, where you're hang up the motherfucking phone. I'm Stammy will absolutely just slay that. And you did. And right now, we're in the process of mixing sound. There was a scene at night in Long Island in August where the crickets were really loud and our original sound was very kind of the crickets were overtaking the dialogue. But we have a really good sound mixer who was taking the balances down, and he and I and Rob are working on just tweaking little things.
Yeah.
And moving decibels down here and balancing volume here between like the people in the cat in the car,
Right.
And then the beach scene with the ocean waves. So it's just like making sure all that stuff is just, which is another thing which we can do now because it's all remote. Right. Rob and I Skype, and he can share screen, and I can see what he's doing on the edit. And
so cool.
And so it could all happen on phone and on emails and on video chat. So I'm thankful that it was shot already, because if we were planning to shoot, we'd be fucked. I couldn't do it. But it's already, in the can, and so I'm thankful for that. So these are things like, it's like, yes, there's things, to go back to an earlier point, to keep us busy.
Yeah.
Because if you're not busy, you can get very down and very saddened about this change in our world, and it's a great way to kind of just get away from that for a moment.
Well, like this.
But you were wonderful.
You're wonderful.
Like, the people who I saw, I was like, wow, Sammy did a really wonderful job.
That's really nice. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's funny, and because like when I'm like, yeah, and he wrote it, and he thought that I could do well, and like I think we were in your class at Pace, and you were like, I wrote it for you, and I was like I don't know if I ever realized that, like.
Yeah.
And it's so funny. It's fun to get to those points with the frustration with it, but it's also like it's very interesting because you know me, and when I get angry, like, and it's got to be something like big, like it's
right.
It's
big face.
It's got to be.
It's got to be big.
It's got to be big, and I go there if I get really angry. But it takes something really significant to make me that angry.
Right.
But I also, it's hard to get angry. Like the film is so interesting because it's hard to get angry at certain things that I have a lot of compassion for, like other people that are not doing well emotionally, mentally, whatever. Right. And so it was an interesting thing to play with that line, borderline.
Oh, yes. Which line do you mean?
The line of having compassion and my heart really being there,
right.
But also being like at this, like done.
Yes,
I'm done, bro. Yeah.
I mean, but to me, that's where the tension is, and it's where it works because yes, you are, and this character is a compassionate person. Yet at the same time, there is a selfishness on the other side. Right.
Yeah.
Yes, he's 100. Really hurt. He's hurting really badly, and I've written this from experience. I know many people who've dealt with this issue.
Yep. As have I. Yeah.
And yet at the same time, the other character who was the antagonist basically was like, he was not considering what you were going through. He was completely locked into his old thing, and you were trying very hard at the same time. It's like, you're driving me crazy. Are you okay? And I knew you would be able to make that work.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm so, we've worked together now in casting, and then in the theater company, and then on set for Three Kings, and then in this capacity, acting it with you directing. And it's so cool. Like we've been wanting to work together in so many ways on so many things, and we still will.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely we will.
I love you.
What else did we talk about?
My Davy. Well, what? You tell me. What do you feel like talking about? Well, tell me. For those,
I probably have about 10, 15 more minutes.
What are you setting limits on me?
I do, but I've got a pace class.
Busy man.
Busy.
The teacher. Oh.
Hello. They're paying me.
Sorry, I annoyed you with my friendship.
Oh, Jesus. Help.
Somebody.
All
right. I was gonna. So, I just wanted to ask you. Well, there's a couple things, but I don't know if you know this, but every week, for my show, I have this portion that is called "The Feather in Your Cap." By feather in your cap, I mean a success or an achievement something maybe you've learned that may help you in the future or already helps you. It could be something during this time that you've learned even that you'd be willing to offer to other people that maybe it might give them a feather in their cap, especially during this time.
Feather in the cap. Yeah.
You know, I get that from Norm. Do you know that Norm
Yeah.
used
Oh, tell me.
Norm, so Norm, for those of you, is somebody that was kind of just helped me in my life so much. And he's passed since. But every time that I would go through something and we'd talk about it and maybe I couldn't see a way out or whatever, he would always have this phrase that he would say to me. And he'd always be like, you'll use that. It's a feather in your cap. And I loved it because it made whatever I was going through, it was like, you know what? If I hold on to that, it's a good thing no matter how bad or no matter how good. This can serve me in so many ways, a feather in your cap. And I just think it always stuck with me. And that's why I think this portion is really important, because for everybody it's different. And I'd love to hear yours.
I mean, what comes to mind is the continuing journey of three kings, and being persistent and believing and continuing even in the face of what's happening now, where you can get really down, and justifiably so. But from a tragic situation based on my family where my mother died of this disease, I made a project which turned into a beautiful play and then a short film, and now hopefully it will be a larger film. And the other part of it was being persistent with what it could do, because I think I told you that I contacted the executive director at Lewy Body Dementia Association, and he watched it and his associate watched it and they loved it.
I remember.
And to me, this is outside of my career or anything it could do for me. This was about what can I do to help people and families who are going through this situation.
Be of service.
And so he came back to me and said, look, we'd love to use your film. And I said, please, I would love to, whatever it can do, whatever I can do to help you guys. Has nothing to do with my filmmaking career, but it's more like, how can I help your organization assist families going through what I went through?
Yeah.
And to me, I love that, because it has a whole other life.
A whole other life.
It's able to, it's able to touch people in a way where it's like, yes, something that I made. It's like, yes, nice storyteller, filmmaker, wonderful, no doubt. But then outside of that completely, it's a wonderful thing to have happen. And I did this, I mean, I had a conversation with this guy who was a friend of Armando's, who runs the NYU film program. And he said, listen, after the film,
I was going to say, right? Yeah, Ken. Yeah.
Right. So, you know him. So and this guy, I think he is he's very high standards. So he came back to me and said he really loved the film. And he suggested to me, after you do the festival run, you should try and do outreach to associations like that. And so that's kind of stuck with me. And just on a whim, one day, as I wasn't doing much, like, let me just look this stuff up, find the organization. Let me just fire out an email and then send the film. And then I didn't even think about it for a while. I was just like, but let me just do that, reach out. And a lot of times I just do this stuff, and I've been at it for so long that I don't expect anything back. Let me put it out there.
Just put it out there. Exactly.
And so then a really beautiful letter came back from this guy.
I remember.
And now we have a nice back and forth. And I actually offered him, I said, during this, if there's any way I can volunteer right now, I'm not an expert, of course, but if you need volunteers to help out on Zoom, to help listen to people, help talk to people, so that would be great. So, just continuing, like, setting up a new relationship with people like that is a whole, so.
For the sole purpose of that. And then, like we said, you just don't know.
Yeah.
So your feather in the cap is persistence?
I guess was that too long?
No. I'm just bringing it back to, because
I guess, persistence in your belief, persistence in giving back, and because to me it's like, what do we do with our stuff? We give out, and we tell the stories we want to tell, and and hope that it connects with people. Of course, it's not going to connect with everybody. That's fine.
Yeah.
We can't expect that, but
Nothing does. Nothing connects with everybody.
Right. But
that's why there's different critics.
So yeah, persistence, belief, giving back. Yeah.
Beautiful. And
do I have a feather?
Do I have?
It's a pen.
That's what it's. Act as if.
As if.
Awesome.
What is John doing? Having ice cream in the background?
Oh, I see. I don't even hear it because I have headphones in. He might be having ice cream. You could very well be right. Hey guys, this is live. It's quarantine. I live in a studio with another person. You're gonna hear it. It happens.
Well, you know what the cool thing?
Wait.
You watch like Colbert and Trevor Noah, and it's like there are houses, and sometimes an animal walks back and forth, or you hear something in the background. It's like this is life. The
other day, I was doing an interview, and Storm just jumped. Storm is one of my cats, Storm and Charles Xavier, and Storm just jumps right on the mic and just like throws it, and I was like, awesome. It's perfect.
Yes. Yeah. But right.
It is what it is,
Yeah. No, it's beautiful. That's what
it actually makes me laugh because it's like, I can't control that, nor will I try. That's why when we have like buffering issues and stuff, it's going to be, I'm not going to edit it out. I'm just going to leave it.
No.
It is what it is. Yeah, exactly.
Wait, did we just say that?
It is what it is.
Here we go. It is what it is.
What it is.
It is what it is.
I used to date this guy who hated that phrase. Like if I was like, whatever, it is what it is. He would like boil. He hated that.
Right.
And I'm like,
and then you would answer, it is what it is.
It is what it is. Exactly. I was just like,
you would boil again. It's like, okay.
I'm like, I got this.
Here's another thing you're not going to like. Get over it.
Suck on that, bitch.
Suck on that. Ooh. Taxi driver. Yep.
So many good ones.
Yeah.
So many
what else,
ones.
Sammy?
So nothing to be forced. We talk how we talk. We had a beautiful conversation. Okay. Well, I'm sure we'll do this again during all this time.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
you know me. I mean, I could keep going. It's just I do have the pace thing.
No, and the thing is that you and I can always keep going and going. Yes. And there's a wealth of stuff that we could talk about creatively and during this time. So we'll touch back in, touch base again, another day. But you go teach your class. You go do your thing.
What are you going to do?
What is today? Today's Friday?
Yeah.
No idea anymore.
I know.
No idea. Oh, remind me to talk to you about all that payment stuff. For those of you out there that are dealing with any of that unemployment stuff and like trying to figure that out, you're not alone. And I've been reading all these articles, and it's bizarro. People are just.
I did get a deposit of a monthly like small payment, but I did get pandemic.
You did?
Yes.
When was that? When did you get that?
I got it on Wednesday. So happy. However, I didn't get money for all of April.
Right. So here's what I've learned. Here's what I've learned, guys. So in case you want to know.
And by the way, sorry, but I've been calling the New York State unemployment. Let's see how many times today. 25 times today.
Oh, yeah. John and I would go on his phone and my phone. We called hundreds of times each day. It was insane. Right. But so apparently, with reading articles, when you do qualify for unemployment, you also do get the $600 pandemic unemployment assistance. I forgot what it's called. It's PUA. Right. And so you do get that as well on top of it. However, I received $600 and have gotten nothing since. And it's been like 2 weeks, and which is so bizarre. Cause I'm like, did they just forget now? So it turns out there's been articles, people are getting like a mystery payment of $600 and then nothing. And so it's like not everybody even gets it, but some people, they just started making payments like until they approve them. So they're pending approval still. So I guess mine's still pending approval.
Did you look at your deposit statement?
Yes.
Does it say, because mine it did say New York State Department of Labor.
Mine as well. And it's, okay. But it only happened once, which I'm like, what the hell happened? And so did you ever get a letter saying that it was approved and you were going to be getting it?
Okay. I got a letter. I first filed in March.
Yeah.
And this was the old system because they worked
right,
with Google.
Exactly.
So the old system was even more of a nightmare because you would go through all the questions and then it would time out. Like literally 3 days, like 8 hours a day.
For real.
I finally got through. but this is before pandemic, and then they gave me a very small amount of money.
Right.
And then I continued to try and get in. I couldn't get in. And so then I reapplied, I don't know, like 3 or 4 weeks ago under the new system. I didn't hear anything. I got nothing. And then I went on and did the weekly thing where it said, right, you have to sort of, did you look for work? You know,
Yeah.
Were you able to work? Were you not able to work because of COVID?
Right.
Answer all the questions. And that's when I finally got more money. So there's no rhyme or reason.
But
I just think like persistence again with the feather.
Yeah. With the feather.
I mean, right?
No,
I mean,
that's
know.
what it is. I just wanted to say it to offer people
Thank
that
you.
if it's all confusing and you haven't gotten it, or you have gotten it, then it stopped, you're not alone. And I just got approved for the unemployment thing, but after being denied and then sending in paperwork and been waiting, I think it's been almost a month now, and I finally just got it. Or I didn't get it yet, but I got the notification that I was approved for this small amount.
What about the federal payment of the $1,200?
That I got.
See, okay, so I went to the site that you gave me, and I
did as well. Me too.
And then I was able to get through, and it did say it will be processed, so it's successful, right? That was a couple weeks ago.
Nothing. Okay.
Yeah.
And because I did that as well, and it was direct deposit that I did. That I filled out all the information. Turns out it goes to my dad's house in Long Island. And my dad's like, you got it. So he had to deposit it for me. But like,
at least went to your family.
Right.
Yeah. So there's a lot of glitches.
So there's a lot. And I got $600. And then, so I got that, and then nothing since. So apparently it's still pending. I don't know. So those of you out there struggling with the same thing, everybody's struggling with it. So yeah, just keep checking in on it, seeing if, but read articles, type in exactly what happened to you, and you'll hear other people have the same. Again, you're not alone. That's why we need to share this stuff.
Yeah. Look, they're clearly overwhelmed. I get it. New York City's running out of money. We're not getting help from feds. But like this kind of stuff, because you're right, it's just, it is very anxiety producing, because we don't know, the future is very uncertain. And so is the present, because it's like, we don't know if we have money coming in. And we're, you know, all of that stuff. And it just seems like there's very little control.
And there's no control, but also just on that point, it's also retroactive. So you were paid from the time that you first applied, or when you would have been approved.
That has not happened.
Yes. Just be happy you get a goddamn payment.
I know. Oh, great. Thanks. So I have not worked since the middle of March.
Yeah, me neither.
So I remember reading the unemployment. You'll go back from when you first started. Yeah, not true either.
Yeah.
I know. Thank you for telling me. Where's the fucking check?
Right. Tell me with your money.
Give me more sweet lies.
Tell me with your numbers.
Department of Labor. Yes.
But did you get the PUA? Did you get an approval notice of any kind?
I did not get an approval notice. I did get
got payment.
I got the 600. Well, I had the tax taken out, so it was like whatever 530 or whatever.
Okay. All right.
But every Monday I'm going to do the weekly thing, and hopefully, like each week, I'll get the 600, and I'll see. I don't know what else to do.
Yep, that's it. Nobody does.
Actually, I wrote a letter to the Department of Labor, an email. This was 2 weeks ago, explaining, because there is a part of the program where you can get in and you can write an email explaining like a situation you'll understand, because we're part W-2, we're part 1099.
Yep.
So I was saying, how do you navigate that issue, right? And then I was also, in my letter, I said, listen, I have not worked since mid-March, but I've only received payment for 1 week. Can I please get some help? Thank you, blah, blah, blah. It hasn't even been read.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I was like, you said you wrote a letter, and I'm like, like in my head, I'm like, who the hell's going to read that? But no, it's good for you taking the action.
I'm trying. You try every avenue you can.
That's all you can do.
I call all day long, and it's crazy that they don't even have. Right, I was going to have this recorded, because they don't even have like a robo person on the other end.
I know.
It's like, we're sorry, the volume of calls is just overwhelming.
And then it just disconnects you. But it changes. Try every day. People try every day. Keep trying. Try at different times a day. When I finally got in, it was like 5 minutes before 5 when they were closing, after a day of trying hundreds of times.
Oh, so you got a person? What was that like?
They just kind of went over the information. This was originally.
Okay.
But yeah. And by the way, I just got the stimulus check, the $1,200 So for those of you waiting, I just got it like this past week. So it just got to my dad's house. So those of you that are still waiting, so what date are we right now? I don't know when this is airing, but it's the 8th of May. I just got it. So you'll get it. People are still getting them.
When did you submit? Do you remember?
Oh, well, that one I didn't submit for. I don't think.
But I mean, when you went on the site to have it.
Oh, that was I guess a couple weeks ago, but it didn't even go through that because it was sent in the mail. So that was direct deposit. So.
Oh, so it was sent to your father's house in the mail.
Yes, in the mail.
All right, this is insane.
That's what I'm saying. So even though it had all my direct deposit. So guys, just we'll sum it up there. It's insane. We're all going through it. It's a crazy time. Lots of people need it and are struggling. And I just want to be, and not that I don't need it, but I'm grateful. I'm eating. I love that. That's the first thing I say because I love food. But I'm eating. I have a roof over my head, and so if maybe other people, I try and look at it instead of getting frustrated that maybe other people that are in more desperate need are getting it first. And if that's the case, I'm okay with that. I'm good with that. And I try and look at it like that and all in its time. But like you said,
have your bag of almonds, you're good.
Yes. That's my hard-boiled egg, big almonds.
Eggs and your almonds. Oh, hey, one last thing.
Yeah.
Our friend, Scott Powers just emailed me. So, you suggested that when we record on Zoom that I record to the cloud. Yes. Right. So on that end, and I did this pace last week and I did it with Scott.
Yeah.
For some reason, I had I don't know, 5 different chapters or 6 different chapters. The kids were only able to open one. Weird, right?
Okay. I'll walk you through it.
So I chaptered it, right? I chaptered it like 6 different chapters, right? So record, not pause, but stop. So record, stop for different auditions. And then, they sent me an email with a link and I'd forward that out and they're like, they can only get one. So we'll have to talk.
Yeah, we'll talk. I'll walk you through it because I have a feeling it's going to be pause instead of stop, but we'll talk about it.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I'll walk you through that because I think I know why.
Okay.
Learning Zoom. I swear I became really good with microphones and stuff right now because of this. So learning something.
Yeah. Well, these are things that I've been talking to actors about, right? Learning how to set up your shot. Because this is stuff when they go into the studio, we do this for them, right? We set the camera height, we set the lighting,
the framing,
we set where the mic, the frame, all that stuff. Now we're not there.
I know.
Right? So don't be shooting up your nose.
I know.
Hello, this is great. Right? Make sure the sound is good.
Don't have a disgusting background that is so distracting.
So distracting.
Yeah.
All that stuff
Don't
matters.
have your roommate chewing and or someone like John eating ice cream behind you, effing people.
Yeah.
He's probably not even eating ice cream. I'm just being a jerk.
Right. But I mean, look, that stuff is going to happen, of course.
Yes.
But to some
Especially
extent,
now.
set up your production value and,
yeah.
So, and some people, if people have actual money, not a bad idea to invest in a decent mic. What's he doing?
John's showing me, it was Charles Xavier, my cat, eating his food in the dish, but his metal thing hits the ceramic of his dish. That's what it was.
Oh,
Charles. Yeah. So,
sorry, Charlie.
Sorry, Charlie. God, thank God for them. I love them. All right. So you got to teach your pace class. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So wait, if people want to see more of what you've done, want to know what you're up to, where can they find you? Your link, links, or I'll put it, you'll give me the info and I'll put it with this interview, but social media and stuff, if they want to find you, or if you want to stay private, I'll just shut up.
Yeah. Good point.
we could pause right there and you'll follow up with an email.
I guess if you know me already, you could find that stuff on Facebook.
Yeah, you're probably already connected.
Probably connected. D Bellantoni Casting at Gmail is a way for the. Well, yeah, I'm still waiting, of course, for the second film to be done.
Yeah.
For the first film, you know what? That's something I need to do during this time is redo my site.
Okay. So.
Yeah.
It's one of those things.
Yes.
I know. So, social media handles or anything, is that an easier way?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Instagram is D3Bella.
Come here, buddy.
D is in David, 3, B is in boy, ELLA.
Yay.
Or my name on Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Charlie's just rubbing his face against my feet.
As they do.
As they do. Come here, Charlie. So.
Come here, Charlie. It was you, Charlie.
It was you,
I
Charlie.
could have been a contender.
I'm trying to pick him up. He's not going to like this, but he is Charles Xavier.
Oh, look how beautiful he is.
He's a beaut. He's my bubba. Here you go, Charles. Okay. So in case you guys like cats, if you hate them, sorry, it sucks for you.
This is
You're
your
missing
world,
out.
Sammy.
You're just living in it.
Yeah, basically.
Awesome. So
All right.
go do your class, be a teacher. I love you. Thank you, guys. If you could clap, I know you would, because it's so great having you here. Thank you for everything you share and everything you are and everything you give.
Thank you.
I love you and appreciate you always.
Too.
Okay, go have a good class. Guys, thanks for tuning into Big Face.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah, thanks for being here or watching. You're watching. And ayo, away.
Ayo.
Either way, thank you guys. It's been really nice to connect with you, and see you next week, hopefully. All right, bye guys.
Adios.